Hello. Um, Basically, I'm sorry about the messy room. I just woke up. Baby's still in shambles. But I was thinking about something on my way home from work today, and it's pretty simple. Um, the auto industry now has a huge, plethora of money they're coming up with. I mean, it's a decent amount. I mean, so far we got 14 million or something in profits. It might have been last year or starting this year. Either way, it's a booming industry. And right now, we can't fill enough spots to keep the workers going to work. I mean, not just for auto industry. I mean, for manufacturing and the like. Now you got to ask, why is that? Do we have not enough unemployed people? Of course not. Plenty of unemployed people everywhere. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to try and look at the camera instead of my monitor. It's up there using a TV instead of a monitor because I'm just ghetto like that. Or I just like spending a bunch of money. Either one. Whatever. So basically, the auto industry is making all this money. The manufacturers are complaining that they don't have enough workers to meet the demand. And we have a huge unemployment rate. And I want to say a little bit about unions, right? Because I'm in a union. I'm an electrical worker. As you can tell, I'm dirty as all crap and tired and blah, blah, whatever. Do a hard job. Anyway, the idea is that unions give skilled labor. They do. No matter what you may think, they provide apprenticeship programs and training and everything else for their workers so they can be more productive and thus, be up to the union standard. And this is important because outside of that, you have just workers. Okay. Let's say, for example, my trade. I go through an apprenticeship school. It's 5 years long. Technically, I don't want to get into details, but 5 years long. That pay escalates every time I complete school, or every time I complete a year in school, and pretty much it makes it so the difference between me and the boss is the boss was just chosen that position. I get as much knowledge as him, I have as much understanding as him, I have the same licenses as him, I can get the same licenses if he has more than I do. And the only difference, honestly, is if the company decided he should be the boss and I don't. The pay difference in pay, I think it's a minimum difference is $1 plus 1%. It can be more. It can always be more, but that's the only basic pay difference. And one day I might be his boss. We don't know. That's how my trade works. But let's look at non-skilled area or non-union sector. They go to work, and let's say they're doing the same job I do. Only one guy is required to be qualified. Everyone else doesn't have to be qualified or know anything they're doing. Yet, they can all consider themselves electricians. The problem is that even at the job I'm at now, I have a lot of people who weren't union, who don't understand union ways and how it works, and it's very easy to see that they do not have even a small portion of my knowledge, even though they've done the trade for 10, 20 years. Or actually, one of them specifically has done the trade for 9 years, yet when we got put on a project to work together, they had no clue. I mean, they were totally lost. He was speaking on things that were totally irrelevant. And I'm like, no, we do this, this, and this, and this is what you do this. And it's like, wow, I'm training a person who's done this job for 10 years that I've only done for half of that, yet, and his quality of work is a lot less. He doesn't understand that, you are your own foreman as a union journeyman electrician. Therefore, you must have a certain standard of quality of work. It isn't just, just do it because the boss said so. It's another scale. So, these manufacturing jobs, a lot of them need machinists, which is a skilled trade. You can go to college for it, but honestly, if you're going to college to be a machinist, you might as well finish up 2 more years and be an engineer, and then go into a designing area of design and invention and things like that, instead of saying, hey, I'm just going to go be a worker. So these trades are needed to put people in these mid-range job areas. But because of the destruction of unions, we have this huge lack of workers. I mean, so far, before I remember it was a fair share. Up north was union, south was union and non-union, a little mix, but now it's like none of the south is union, or the states are completely unionized. None of the south works like that anymore, and now they're getting rid of the ones in the north. There's only a handful of states that are strictly union. They're, we're all right to work. If you can go to the job, then you have the right to work there, which also means you have the right to be fired. By that, I mean, if I go to work, because I'm a skilled tradesman, and I do the jobs I'm supposed to, unless specifically the job is over or my contract is up, then I can't be fired. They can't just go, oh, well, we had a bad day today, or, you know, you didn't wear a shirt you liked, so bye, you're fired. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's not even honest. But they can't do that. They'd have to go through a gang of lawyers and everything else, and it's not worth it to them. Of course they can if I go outside of my boundaries or do something outside of any area I work in. Let's say, you know, I'm connecting a bunch of high voltage transformers, and I say, hey, well, this floor looks a little uneven, and I go break out a hammer and start fixing the floor. Okay, yeah, I'll probably get fired because that's not my trade, that's not my job. But that's understandable. By the same note, I shouldn't go to work, finish my day's job, finish early, and then they go, oh, sweet, you're done? Bye, you're fired. That's the right word state. Didn't know. They have the reason to fire you or get rid of you or lay you off under any circumstances they deem. That means if you literally come to work and they go, you wore a blue hat, you are fired, you have no repercussion except to go to the unemployment line. The only thing you can't fire you over is race, creed, color, sex, or sexual preference, which, of course, does that really matter? Oh, well, we're going to fire him because he's gay, but we'll just say because his shirt's black. Done. Fired. No, I'm not gay. Yeah, I'm not gay. Can't be gay. Anyway. So we go on to the idea that these workers are needed, the unions are destroyed, so where are we going to find these workers? They just don't exist anymore. So, where are you going to train them at? Would it be economically feasible to have a company shell out $40,000, maybe $50,000 to train these people from the bottom up, not knowing if they'll succeed or not, with the hopes that they become skilled tradesmen, and then also hope for their loyalty to stick with the company? Which also says that there's a way around that. You can make a contract. But who would sign a contract saying you must pass school and you must stay with this job no matter what happens if we send you to school for X amount of years? Yeah, I wouldn't sign that. I mean, what kind of crap? Because they still have the right to fire you. You just don't have a choice to quit. You know, that's a low level playing field. And the other option from the business perspective is to send you to school and just pray that they didn't waste their money. Both sides don't work. That's why another necessity of unions is to train workers so they can go to work in these fields. Yes, you could say the unions are unfair because they feel that if we train these people that you should hire union only. They feel that way. It isn't required, but they feel that way. For example, let's use Disney. Disney hires a lot of union workers. They do. I'm doing a job there right now. One of the parts. Do they only hire union? Heck no. See a lot of non-union there. Do they only do a certain thing? No, they don't. But there's an agreement. And primarily because all of their electrical or tradesmen that work specifically for Disney are all unionized, which is fair too. So, where's this, that's what I don't understand about how you could say something is needed, and then what's needed, you say we don't need that. That doesn't make sense. That's like saying, well, I'm hungry. Okay, well, here's some food. Well, I don't need the food. I'm just hungry. Well, how are you going to not be hungry if you don't eat? It doesn't make any sense. You can't do that. You can't say, hey, we need machinists, but let's get rid of the people who will train the machinists and tell the people to go out and become machinists, spend $100,000 in school, and then come back to a $60,000, $50,000 an hour job. A year job. Yeah, I wish it was an hour. $50,000 a year job. So you can't explain that. It doesn't add up. So what kind of ploy is this? Why would they do this? Why? Because if they put the desire and the need in your hands as, the normal citizens, then you're required to shell out more money to other institutions to get less and less in return. Eventually it'd be to the point where not only do you have to pay for your schooling, you'll have to pay to go to work. You have to go into work and they'll say, hey, you give us this, we'll pay we'll pay you $50 an hour. But to come to work and get on our property, you got to pay us, whatever, I don't know, some exorbitant amount, pretty much cutting you back down to $20,000. It doesn't make sense. If the training is there and available, and I'm not saying necessarily it's free. I mean, in all honesty, it's not free for me. I go to work. I work as an apprentice, still under apprentice designation, and I work there for a reduced pay. This reduced pay is because I don't know as much as I should. Also, this reduced pay still has me doing jobs that I'm not necessarily qualified for, but because I have someone over me who's watching, who is qualified, who teaches me to work. So it's like me saying, I'm being paid to be a worker, yet I'm in a management position. So they're getting management type work out of me, even though they're paying me at a lower scale. Eventually, they'll bring me up to par with my work, with my working efficiency or working effectiveness with the amount of pay I have. They'll finally balance out when I'm done with my schooling. But until then, I'll get reduced pay. Does anyone see a problem with that? I mean, does anyone really see a problem with that? I mean, if you go to work at, let's say you go to work at McDonald's, right? I feel they should be able to pay you slightly below minimum wage until you earn a position. But after that, they should pay you higher. You know, if their basic wage is $8 an hour or $9 an hour, and you first start off, yes, you should make $7. But when you actually get those positions and you're proficient at them, you should get 10. What is wrong with that? It lowers the amount of the turnaround rate, because you know turnaround rate in places like that is really high because people are stagnant in their wage, and no matter how much they do, they can never get higher, or no matter how much they learn, they can't go higher unless they go to management. The management has a cap. You have to do so much, and no matter how much further you go until you become the GM or store manager, whatever they call it now, you know, it keeps having these big, huge blocks or plateaus you cannot go beyond, you know, until you put out for free the effort they want. It should always be in order and a stepping stone. These are just things I think about, you know, about politics. You know, I go into a lot of politics. Hey Tracy, I know you're gonna watch this. So I'm gonna post this, and we'll get back to other events. This is my first YouTube video, so don't be too appalled. An ugly old black man, you know, whatever. Anyway, that's it. Have a good day, guys. Peace out.